Good evening and welcome to episode 122 of the Pavis Perspective, powered by Better Bites. Do not rub your eyes. I'm joined by Will. Tom's not here tonight. He's got some air guitar lessons to attend, so he couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately. But I'm joined by Will. Will, how's your week been, mate?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, I'm on half term at the minute, so I've had this week off. Got another week off next week, so it's good. It's going well. Just chilled today, really. But yeah, no, excited for this.
Yeah, it must be great to be part-time. Must be great.
It's class.
Yeah, plenty to talk about, to be honest with you. I know Will's come up with quite a good idea of quite a few talking points. But to be honest, I'm just going to go straight into the Swindon game. A game that I think, without two massive errors, it could have been something to sort of build on. But look, there were those two errors, and inevitably we go on to lose that game. There was some decisions made in terms of substitution and starting 11 that I think we could definitely go over as well. But those two goals were shocking, wasn't it?
It is. It's so harsh. Like, I know it was Maynard's MK Don's post match that I listened to. He got the question sort of grilled at him, and it was about is he up for the job? There's gonna be questions about his future and things like that. And we'll talk about that interview in a bit, I'm sure. But he commented about the errors that have happened, in the individual errors and the things that he can't sort of really deal with. They're not sort of things that he's set up and things that he can be put on to blame for him. And it does seem like since he's come in, and beforehand as well, but since he's come in, the individual errors are just, there's almost one every couple of weeks, over a couple of games, if not more. I think the first one, Robertson, I think he's been fantastic. I think he's a great player. I think he's been playing. I think he's done well since he's come in. It's just, I don't know if Slocum's in the wrong position. I don't know if he hasn't looked where Slocum is. It seems that both of them are a little bit at fault. I don't know why Slocum's so far out away from his goal, but we see him do that quite often, don't we? Changing the sort of angle for the defender.
What I will say, sorry to interrupt you, on that topic of saying is it Slocum, is it Robbo? You sort of look at the goal itself, and I've watched it about 4 or 5 times, probably more actually, because it's been all over social media, hasn't it? And look, Robbo does the pass, and it's a bad pass. Why is Slocum at his far post when we've got the ball at what would be his near post? He should really be covering his near post, shouldn't he? I mean, that seems sort of basic to me. But then obviously it's not happened, and then it's prevention in that situation, isn't it? So the ball's bounced off the post, and then it's to the centre backs, and then the striker that obviously goes on to score, Baldwin is stood on, and then when the ball bounced off the post, he's just walking towards it, and then their player's running at it, and then ends up scoring.
Yeah.
For me, there's no beating around the bush on that. It shows lack of desire, doesn't it? It's, is he caught sleeping, and then in that moment he's gone, oh dear, like I need to run back, and then it's too late. There's three pivotal mistakes there for me, and Baldwin is one of them, Slocum's one of them, and Robbo's one of them. So for that goal, there was 3 individual errors, which is just awful, isn't it?
But not surprising though.
Yeah.
Not surprising though, and you're right. I think there's a lethargicness to Baldwin, like we've seen before. Like I say, I think he's just sort of caught out a lot. Like in the one that comes to mind for me is the playoff semi-final last year against Bournemouth. It's like he scores that goal, and then the next ball over the top, he's just sort of stops running, and then their strikers in, he makes up for it. It's something that we've seen before from Baldwin. I think he's a good defender, but I think there's a lethargicness there that seems is like really rooted in his game. Not think he's fully to blame, as you say. I think there's obviously three errors, but it's as if the whole back sort of 5, the whole back line or 4, there's just shakiness there, isn't there? There's just shakiness. I think there's a lack of confidence all over from them all, and I think that's why the errors are just coming in all the time. It looks like it might be with Robertson, it's edging itself up a little bit more, which is a shame. But
yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of contributing factors, and look, we've come on here week in, week out for what feels like such a long time now, and sort of been, saying this is wrong, that's wrong. But I think it's a collective issue, isn't it? And I think one thing that probably doesn't help is changing keeper all the time for the back line. It's true though, because I'm sure obviously all 3 keepers. Obviously we've got Stone, we've got Slocum, and we've got Ashby Hammond. They all sort of play slightly differently. Now Slocum, I don't think Slocum was sort of. Look, he's coming towards the end of his career. Let's be honest. I think he's probably brought up in an era where goalkeepers were there to just save shots. not sort of being the 11th outfield player as they sort of are now. And I think that took some getting used to. But he's made a lot of errors, Slocum has, for us.
Yeah.
And I'd sort of be critical in saying that I don't know if you should have started against Swindon.
I don't know what. Ashby Hammond had a really good game a couple of weeks ago, didn't he? And I just don't know why he was bought. I don't know why he was took out of the team afterwards. What I don't get is why I don't get why Slocum's standing there. I was watching it and I was having the Swindon commentary, and they had a goalkeeper as their on co-coms with him, and he said he would just never stand in that position. He would literally be on his, he would make sure he's covering his goal at all times, especially if the player's got the ball in that sort of angle. But I feel like it's where Slocum normally stands, and it's only the first time really where I thought, don't know if I really like that, and I'm probably sure we won't see it again. But I think you're right. It kind of shocks me that it came from Slocum, like you say, as he's the one that's probably grew up in a time where he hasn't got to stand in them positions. He's probably brought up to just defend his goal. Maybe he's overthinking things. I don't know. But yeah, it's sloppy, isn't it? And it's bad. It's bad.
Love this from Fraser. Look, the Pavis perspective showing stronger squad depth than Notts at the moment.
Transfers coming in.
It's true, it's true though, isn't it? It's true.
Man. He's a busy man.
He's very busy. He's very, very busy. But yeah, obviously then Slocum does that error for their second goal, which we've sort of talked about. It's the same sort of issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then obviously Jatta comes on and scores in a game where I think I'm probably not alone. I think I'm probably with the majority in saying that we feel like Jatta probably should have started that game. Yeah.
No, I agree. And I sort of slated him a couple of weeks ago, but I think, the game, sometimes he looks lost, sometimes he doesn't look like he's having an impact, but he's clearly having an impact on games. He's scoring goals. He's got 5 goals in his last 5 games now. So I think the impact he's having, and there's a different sort of dimension that we've got with the sort of crossing ability that we've got as well with Jones and, Neman on. Well, Neman sometimes end products a little bit off it. But yeah, I can't see at the minute why you wouldn't be starting him unless it's something to do with his legs, unless he's too leggy or something. But I thought his fitness would be okay. It's not like he's not been playing before he signed for us. So yeah, I can't see why he won't start. I think he's got to start.
Yeah, like I just said, that's the point I raised, because that's wholeheartedly how I think it should be. Players that are in form should play. Like you said, fitness should be there. And look, he's 5-5 now, and he got himself in some really good positions as well against MK Dons. And you can't help but feel like if he's on the pitch for longer against Swindon, it's a completely different game. It's a completely different game. Even if he subbed him on a little bit earlier, it's a completely different game.
Yeah, their commentary was like they were kind of rinsing Notts at times, but like apologising for it. And I was finding it kind of hilarious to be fair, because they just said if you've seen any of Swindon's games before that, you would have seen if you just put the ball into their box, their defenders can't deal with it at all. That's what their commentators were highlighting. They said if Notts would have watched one game, they'd have seen that you get a big man in the box and whip the ball in, we can't defend it. Lo and behold, what do they do at the end of the game? Whip a ball in, they can't defend it. Why have we been trying to tick-a-tack and pass it around, like trying to walk the ball into the goal for the past 75 minutes before? Sometimes you've got to change up your strategy. We've seen it too many times now this season where we've had high possession, we're getting 60% possession and whatnot, but it's not been effective. We're not getting any results from it. You've got to make that change earlier, or like you say, from the start. Jatta, at the minute, he's being effective, isn't he? He's scoring goals. So why aren't we just playing to his strengths and to our wingers' strengths as well? I don't get it. So yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I think he should have started the game, especially with Swindon not being able to defend balls into the box. Is odd.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because the owners obviously want to implement and have a manager that plays a certain way. But I think, when it's not working like it hasn't been for the last few months. And, we've seen the way when we change it a little bit and we go a little bit more direct, it is effective. I think without going too far off the way that we play and losing our identity a little bit, I think why not switch it up a little bit? Because that shows, that you're good with your tactics and, you're not too proud to say, look, if I go a little bit more direct, I reckon we can get a result from this game. It's hard because I am a big believer in, playing football the right way.
Yeah.
But then, there's times like this when we're trying to play football the right way, it's not working. But when we have sort of changed it here and there a little bit and gone a little bit more direct, it's been effective. So is it like a stubbornness, do you think?
But who's stubbornness on whose part, though? Do you think it's Maynard's part? Because we've signed Jatta. we signed Jota, and that's obviously an like a sort of inclination that we've got to change. They want to change, not change the style of play, but there's a plan B. So is it him trying to be stubborn and not wanting to put the ball? Like, I don't know. Is it just the philosophy of Notts at the minute? Is it the way that do you know what I mean? The way the owners want us to play? I don't know. But I think if I was Maynard, I'd be starting to change it up a little bit and just probably getting more balls into the box for Jota, trying to strengthen up that defense a little bit more, and just going for playing on our strengths, in my opinion. But
Callum sort of just said, like, summed it up quite well there. I think I'm sure the owners and fans would rather be sitting in top 3 with 50% possession than the table with 8. It's true, yeah. It's true. There's some good comments. There's some really good comments on it.
Barrow fans will be loving it.
Well, exactly. They're massively overachieving, aren't they, Barrow? Let's be honest. They've built on it, haven't they? But to say where they are now, if you'd have said that to them sort of 5 years ago, they'd have probably said, "No way." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
TD says the way we want to play suits Luca. In my opinion, Slocum shouldn't be in goal. Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. To be honest, I think Luca, when called upon, he's been really good, hasn't he? To be fair, he's been relatively good.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Luca in a bit when we look at them transfers coming in. I think he's been good, but I don't think he's really the man to take. I know he's on loan and things like that. Would you sign him again next year?
Probably not. But I'm talking respectively now. Is he the best of a bad bunch?
Oh, I would 100% say so. Yeah, I would think so. But I think Slocum's probably second, and then Stone's third.
Yeah,
in my choices.
Yeah, keep your comments coming in. I've seen Indica's just said, "Where's Tom?" He's at ballet lessons tonight.
Yeah,
he's at ballet. I think
there's a few rumours that he's either at ballet or he has just bought a new pet rabbit.
All right.
Have you not seen it?
No, I haven't. What does it look like?
Little rabbit. It's called Jimmy. Little rabbit called Jimmy.
Right.
And apparently it needs a lot of training.
Right.
So
okay.
I can't leave it at all.
That's fair enough. That is fair enough. I mean, if you've got a new rabbit, probably take a few months off.
Pet to buy now, though. I don't really know anyone who's got a rabbit.
Well, we're old now, aren't we? We don't need rabbits.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Right, on to MK then. We talked about Swindon there for quite a while. Obviously, quite a lot to talk about. Again, MK, another game where there's loads to talk about. Lots of goals. Roller coaster of emotions for me. It was, though, honestly. There was times like their first goal goes in and we were playing so well. We were playing so well. Every time we received the ball, it was going forward. It was direct. It was fantastic. Honestly, it was so good to watch. And then, I can't remember his name now, but it's not really that important. He sort of skips past two of our players and then puts in a great goal, to be fair. Dean, that was it. Yeah, he was one of them players, mate. I know you weren't there, but he was winding the fans up no end.
Yeah.
He got subbed off. And then when they scored their goals, he was running out their dugout and celebrating in front of the Pavis. He was one of them players. I mean, I love it, but it gets under your skin, doesn't it?
It does. It was Barrow. I can remember Barrow doing that. Remember it was for Barrow when we was in National League and they scored against Clough and you just like, what? It was a great goal. It was a great goal. But it's a great finish. But I think Bold. I've watched it back again. Say Bolden dives in so clump. Just stand your ground, stand him up. He's not going to turn you like that if you stand him up. Gone in quite heavily, but it's a great finish. Nothing anyone can do. I agree. But I know everything I've seen from the highlights and what people have been saying, the directness and the start that we had, it's a bit of a shame that they got that goal. But I think in a whole, even after that, it sounds like we carried on pushing on and sort of going for it and played well there and after. And the sort of, I think our goal, where sort of Austin scored, but that ball from the man to Crowley, that's exactly what we want to see. That's exactly what we saw last year, where we're playing them sort of inside balls, inside the fullback and the centre half, going in behind. That's exactly the sort of penetrating play that we need to play. It's not possession for possession's sake. That's us at our best. That's what we need to be doing more. I don't know. So positives from that standpoint. So I think there is positives to take from that game.
Yeah, and then obviously we get a bit of a scrappy goal just before half time to make it 1-1. Sam Austin, been class for us this season. And then, second half starts and, we start with another goal with that half and momentum was going our way there. And I was thinking, I was literally sat there thinking, MK are there for the taking. We can beat these. We're outplaying them. And then they go and score and then they score another one. And then as soon as they scored their second, I turned to Jordan and I said, "That's it. We're going to lose.
Yeah,
that's it." Because it felt like that inevitability, and I think I've said references a few times now on the channel. I feel now exactly how I felt when we got relegated in terms of what I expect. You know, if we go and score, I'm never ever confident that we're going to go and win, even if we take the lead.
True.
And that's how it felt when we got relegated. Because and you look at from the turn of the year in the form table. Well, no, just turn of the year to now, we're rock bottom of the league, on like 10 points or something.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's a madness because we've got. I know where you're coming from. 100%. I can remember when we, losing games and you're sitting there in the Pavis and you're thinking, oh, like our heads are down and we're like, this is the same feeling that we've got. Maybe we had it too good for a few years, but undoubtedly our team's a lot better. I feel like we're still going to push on again next. I'm still confident for next season and things like that because of the sort of skeleton of the sort of some of the players that we're going to retain and keep and the quality that we'll have. But I think you're exactly right. I think as soon as we just look, even if we were 2-3-0 up, and when we're 3-0 up against Newport away and they scored that goal, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was worried then. Yeah. And I know I shouldn't have been, but they scored that penalty, and I was thinking, I know there's only about 5 minutes on the clock, and they could have got another after. Yeah. You're right. We just don't feel safe at the back, and I don't.
Yeah,
need a change in there, don't we?
It's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing for sure. I'll get a few comments in. Paul's put a good one here. If Jones potentially leaves, I'll be tempted to play Langstaff on the left and Scott alongside Jatta. It's the way Scott and Langstaff played at Gateshead. I mean, in hindsight, if that is the case, and we've got Langstaff next season, and Jones does move on. I think that could work. I think at the end of sort of Luke Williams' time, he was pushed out a little bit wider, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was playing really well. So
that game against Newport. That's where he played for that game against Newport as well, further out on the wing, Langstaff, and he was effective then. Swapped to the other side with Jones. But I'd be shocked if Jones is. I just think I can just see them both going. In my opinion,
I'm preparing myself, and I'm prepared now for them both to go. I'm mentally prepared for them both to go. Well, I'm not, but I'm telling myself it's going to happen.
What do you think to that 80? Oh, go on.
Yeah. Assuming Mac will be gone, but Jatta and Scott will be a handful of most defense next season. 100% agree, Andy. 100% agree. I feel for Scott. I really do, because I think he's such a quality player. I might be wrong in saying this, but I think his contract's up at the end of this season.
Yeah. Have you seen the interview he did? Press conference lately.
Did one today? Oh, I didn't see it. No, I was actually looking out for that today, but I didn't manage to see it.
I've not had much to do today, George Boise, so I have watched it.
Oh, part time, yeah.
No, he was talking about that. His contract is up, and he was like, "Have you had any communication from the club about whether you're going to get? Has there been any conversations?" And he said, "Well, he thinks it's a bit sort of awkward from the club's perspective at the minute, because not awkward. He used a different word, but he was like, it's hard to negotiate with an injured player in the fact that." He's not done much this season. For me, it'd be a no-brainer to give him a contract, like to put him on a new contract. No, he's not played this year. I think what he did last year, and every time he came on, and the sort of just his ability, and it means, for one, he's a goal scorer. For two, he's a physical presence. Three, he seems like a great person that just wants to work hard and do well for the team. The way he was speaking about the players today was fantastic in that interview. So I'd 100% keep him on if that's one first question. Like, they definitely need to offer him a contract extension. And two, them two would be an absolute handful.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know what I miss about Scott? His near post efforts.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, cutting in and then just bang.
Oh, love it. Aidy's put another one in as well that I'd like to sort of discuss. And let me know in the chat as well what you think to this one. Do you think Stuart Maynard was gone if they lost against MK Dons? Now I'm led to believe that Maynard is going to be our manager next season, regardless of what happens this season.
Yeah, I thought he would be gone if we lost to MK Dons. I thought he was going to be gone.
There's so many times where I thought of he'd be gone. There's so many times I've been so angry after a game. I've just gone, we need to cut our losses now. Sorry. But there's part of me where I look at it, and I can't remember who it was, but I saw someone put this. It was either on Facebook or on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. That if we are to get rid of Maynard, we're just going to get someone in that's pretty much the same style of manager as Maynard. We're not going to go in and get a League One manager. We're not going to go in and get a high performing League Two manager. It's going to be someone unproven again, like it was with Williams. Williams was unproven. I know he'd played at League One and had some experiences being an assistant at the Championship. But but he's unproven. One of his he did well. I think it was with Swindon, wasn't it? Got them playoffs in League One, and then obviously the next season, things happen behind the scenes, I'm sure, but I think they ended up getting relegated then. Birchnell, you looked at his record coming in, it was very underwhelming, to say the least. I think his win record was 20-something% as a manager. Maynard, a lot of people can't deny he was a lot of people's favourites with the list of people. And I can't buy into this. I was having this discussion earlier with one of my friends, right? I can't buy into this. He's not ready for the step up, and he can't deal with football in the AFL and this level and stuff like that, because he managed in the league below for a few seasons.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying football is football, right? Well, football obviously is football. That was quite a bad thing to say, but football at the National League level and football at League Two isn't drastically different. There's minor differences in terms of, I think you get punished a lot more for mistakes that you make and things like that. Someone's already put that up in the chat box earlier. I saw that. But I think it's sort of natural to sort of, if you're doing well at a club, to sort of make that step up. And he overachieved at Wealdstone. Yeah. Whether it looks like it to us or not, he did, because the tools that he had to hand, he was doing very good with. But not, he sort of come into a team that were obviously fifth at the time, and we have dropped like a stone. But I think there's issues there, to be honest. I think there's issues.
I agree. I think as people are putting in the chat, I think he is staying. He is staying, and to me, I'm not disappointed by that. I want him to stay, and I want him to succeed. I agree with you totally. I think he's obviously done very well at Wealdstone. It's like, you don't turn into a bad coach overnight. He's got better players now to deal with. Obviously, there's rooted errors in there that have been there for a while. He's definitely up for it. I really don't like as people call him a BT engineer and all of this. I just don't. Yeah. It's just daft. It's just daft. He's clearly skilled, and like I say, I don't know who we're getting in. People have been putting, Luke Garrard. We should have got Luke Garrard. He's been sacked by Bourne Wood. He's not the style of manager that we need. Okay, yeah, he might strengthen up the defense, but who's to say he definitely would have done that? Maynard's coming and tries to do that. So I'm happy for Maynard to stay on, and I'm glad, and I want him to have a summer. Now the problem that Maynard's got as well is, and that we're going to look at in a minute, is the fact that he's probably not, from everything we hear about the club and what we know about the club, is he's not the one that's making these decisions on the transfers. And I think the transfers this season is what the issue has been. I think, he's not done well since he's come in. We did lose 9 in 15 before he came in, so he weren't on a great run before that. Defensive errors were already there. He's not been able to stop that, which he said he was going to focus on at first. He has not been able to do that. Fair enough. There has been games where he's been very, very unlucky. He has been unlucky. And I hate to use luck as a thing, but I've got no credit in the bank with him. I think he has been very unlucky at times. I think there's games where you look at and you think we should have got a point out of it. We could have possibly gone on and won it. And then there's games where you look at like Newport, like the best we've ever put, like one of the best games I've seen like this season. And since we, one of the best performances we've seen. So there has been some good performances in there and good sort of halves. So I think we've just got to accept now he's there for next season. We've just got to back him. I don't like people got their own opinions. I'm not sure. Personally, myself, I don't like the sign that was put up in the cop. I don't think that does anything but people are allowed to have their opinions on that. That's fine. If you want to voice that, you pay your money. That is what it is. For me personally, I don't think that helps, but I'm happy to go with it. I think get a new structure in next year, give it the summer and see sort of how it goes. I sort of rambled there. Forgot what I was saying.
That's why we're here, mate. That's why we're here. We do this every Thursday night, man. So I'm just ramble. People seem to like it. I love it. It's great. I'll briefly go over the banner. When that first came up, I thought it feels a bit personal, that one. I think it was at the time I thought, it's not something that I'd do. But then, now I've had time to reflect, and I've seen the sort of come out, the people that said it, and they've said that, look, the owners and the people that need to hear these opinions, they're not on social media. There's no real form of contact to these people. So there's no way to make our opinion heard. So, in that light, like, it's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? They've got their opinion and they feel like the way to get that opinion across, because there's no other sort of form of contact, to do that, because they're definitely going to have seen it then, aren't they?
Yeah.
Look,
it may not be like didn't see it.
Yeah, and his line of questioning after that game was pretty good as well. I thought pretty harsh, but sometimes it's what we want. I've got a bit more respect for Maynard after that interview.
I thought his answers were good.
Yeah, he dealt with it. He dealt with it really well. He looked like he had a bit of bite to him, and
showed some bottle, didn't he?
Yeah, and that's what we saw from Williams. He had that bite to him, didn't he? Where he felt like in the wrong moment he could probably switch up a little bit. I put this one up before we go on to your little segment, Will. Joe has said the brothers said we would be given time even if the results were poor in the press conference when he was appointed, and that he has 3 years on his contract. No statement needed, in my opinion. I disagree with the no statement needed. I think just a little bit of correspondence wouldn't go amiss, because under our former chairman Jason Turner, he was he had a really good bond with the fans. He was always releasing statements and stuff, so you felt really in touch with the club, and you felt like you were in harmony with the way things were being run. And now, look, it's obviously a bit of a crisis, isn't it, under the current ownership, which we haven't seen. So I think it would be nice just to have a little bit of correspondence from them and just.
What do you want to say though? What do you want to say?
Just sort of affirm that they understand that the situation at the moment isn't good enough. And Stuart is we're gonna give Stuart our full backing, because then I think that can unify the fan base a little bit, because it can be divided a little bit, I think, over Maynard in, Maynard out. Should you voice your opinion? Should you not? Should you back the squad no matter what? Everyone has a different way of looking at things. But I think that could, a really good statement from the club or from the owners or anyone really high up at the club that could, affirm what's going to happen. Obviously, we're going to stick with Stuart Maynard. This is the reason why, etc., etc. I think that could do a lot for the fan base.
Yeah. No, I see that. I appreciate. They could. They definitely could do, and it probably gives him a little bit of reaffirmment as well. He'll be a bit more reassured in his own role and things like that, and that he's going to be given the time. But they probably might have had that private conversation. You're right. Why not give that out a little bit more? Do you want to go to the little transfers? Do you want to have a little look?
Yeah, let's do it, mate. I'm looking forward to this. Well,
there's not loads to it. The fact is that we've made. I think one of the main issues, and what a lot of people discuss, is the fact that Maynard has maybe not been good enough since he's come in, and the results haven't. Not him personally. The results haven't been good enough. What is the stem of the issue? Okay, now at the end of the season, I'm sure we'll look at things like who would you keep on, who wouldn't you keep on, who would you sell, sort of that sort of thing. But I think the transfers have been a huge talking point over the past few weeks, especially. So in terms of who we signed this year, and who would you actually say has worked really, really well? So in fact, we've signed, including loans, 12 players this season. Okay, and I've included Jody Jones in there to give us a little bit of something positive to speak about. And there's been past where Montague, we've had good players he's brought in, and someone's asked on the comments there, do you think Maynard should have a bit more insight, a little more input into the transfers? And it's this is that sort of debate. So how well do people think that the players we've brought in this season have got on? So firstly, from July, we bought in Aidan Stone. So basically what I'm going to think of is like, in terms of a 1, they've done not very well. A 5, they've done excellent. You'd start them every game. Now, we don't have to number them all. We can just say how well you think they've gone on. But people in the chat can number if they want. I would say, so starting off with Stone, he's got another year on his contract. Would you keep him on? The big question, would you keep him on next year? Like, is he good enough to stay on? Would you want him as your number 1?
Yeah, I don't think it's worked out for him at Notts. No, I wouldn't have him as number 1.
No. And I think a lot of people, when he came in, were a little bit. I'm not going to say we know loads about him. I think people were a bit shocked when he came in. I think they looked at his sort of feet. I think there's Port Vale, what people were talking about from Port Vale. I don't think they were giving him gleaming reviews. Now, I would totally agree with you. I don't think that he has been great since he's come in. Obviously, the first game did not go ideally at all. I think from them, it's sort of progressed, and it's just sort of it's been like a bit of a domino snowball effect where I think he started off poorly and then sort of carried on. And I think he's under contract next year. I wouldn't really put him as my number 1 next season. I'd probably give him about a 1. I'd give it about 2 out of 5. I think it's been a bad signing.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd probably say 1.
1. We're getting to 1. Fair. Next, we've got Crowley. So Dan Crowley came in July. 14 goals, 8 assists. Start of the season, he was flying at the start of the season, wasn't he? I think every game he looked on it. He was sort of dictating that midfield with Palmer. He showed a lot of attacking threat. He was sort of our biggest attacking threat, towards the first part of the season. Headed goals, which is coming as a little bit of a shock. And the only thing that sort of people got a bit miffed about was when he started putting his ear to the cup. Who was that against? Remember, was that Sutton? Was that Sutton when he put his ear to the cup? Apart from that, I don't think you can really argue with Crowley. I think he's been a 4 out of 5 signing. Definitely keep him on next year. He's got another year next year. You'd want him starting next year.
Yeah, I think we need to put a bit of emphasis on not doing things like that though to the fans.
Go on, but like putting the cup in the air.
It can be divisive. Yeah, like we want there to be like harmony between the players and the fans, but things like that can disrupt that. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Yeah.
Fair. McGoldrick, I'm gonna go straight in there. So much hype. I was so buzzing about him. He's like League One's top one of the league. Was he League One's top goal scorer last year? What up there? I'd give him a 3 out of 5. I've been a little bit. I think he's been decent. I would say. I think he started off, but he's really tailed out. He's been injured and things like that. Some rumblings about a fallout, things like that. Don't know if that's true. I just think he's not lived up to what I expected him to be. And I love him and I'd want him to be in the squad next year. But I don't know if he's actually met the hype that was expected at the start of the season. Don't know if his legs are getting on him a bit, but I'd give him a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. I think, he's probably fallen victim to his career in that one. I think, you think, he's going to come in and be unbelievable. And we've already got some really good players in the squad. So I don't think he was, in hindsight, ever really going to stand out as much as maybe we thought.
Yeah.
So
12 goals, 4 assists.
Yeah, he's still doing well. But I think we were expecting masses from him. He's still been good. Let's say, we bought this guy in and he's 24 and we bought him from a league below or League 2. You'd be thinking, how great is this player? Do you know what I mean?
True. Next, we'll get through this one quickly. Randall.
Not sure who that is.
0 goals, 0 assists.
Yeah, not had much game time. Struggled with his fitness, hasn't he? I'm going to say 1, but I think he's got another year on his contract. So let's see him have a run of games.
Would you? Who over?
I don't know. There must be a player in there. There's got to be a player in there.
Maynard can't risk that though. I know we just said he's here till next season. I don't think Maynard. I can't put him in over Naman or JD Jones or Chickson now. He's going to be on the left. They could swap it around. Austin. I just can't see him play. I'd give it a 1 to a 0 out of 5. I'll give him a 1. Jody Jones. I can't him, but 5 out of 5. Great signing.
5 out of 5. Keep moving.
Was on last season. Macari. I think it's a Macari.
4 out of 5. I think he is a fantastic signing because he's young. He's come from a high level. He's not had massive experience at a high level, but I think he comes from a good club who have installed some really good traits into him. He's shown them really good traits. Obviously, absolute screamer against Gillingham that we'll all remember very fondly.
Yeah.
And I just think he's a bit of a shining light in that back line, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna say 4.
I agree. I'd go for a 4. He's still young, isn't he? And he's got the passion there. He's not done any individual errors yet that we've seen. I know we can't really judge people by that. Like, the halo being a Notts player is not doing individual errors, but I think he's been sort of solid at the back. And I think Macari, I'm glad that we got him to a permanent transfer. I was quite pleased about that. Like to see him. I don't know where his best position is. I don't know if he's better. I think right centre back, but I don't know if he'd be better in a 2, something like that. But I rate Macari. I agree with you. I'd go for like a 4 out of 5. Dan Gosling, no point even talking about. That was brought in after. Is what it is. I don't think that was his fault as such. It was just that was the reaction to Palmer, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, felt like a good thing at the time, but obviously it didn't work out.
Reactionary. Then going into January, Robertson for me,
5 out
4
of
out of
5.
5. What did you say?
5 out of 5.
I'd go 4 out of 5.
I think I'm so excited to see him and Palmer line up next to each other next season.
I can
So
agree
excited.
I
think he's been great. Look, he's had a few errors in him, but he gets himself about. He really, really does. He gets stuck in. And I really like those players that, they're not afraid to, go into a challenge. He probably is the closest thing we have to a player like Dean, isn't he? Like, you wind players up, probably give a little bit to their fans as well, but, great player.
He knows what he needs.
Exactly. He's got an error in him, but he does so much for the squad.
Yeah.
I think he can sort of get away with it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think him and Palmer next season, Palmer and Crowley in that midfield, you'd think would work perfectly. You'd think. And it means he can. It means he can play a bit more. He hasn't got to be reliant on him to make all the passes out the back, because he does. I think a lot of it at the minute is relying on Robertson, and I think he's doing well with it. Like I said, I think he's done really well. But I think when you've got someone like Palmer that he could win the ball back and then shift it onto, you got Crowley in front of him. I think that could work fantastically. So yeah, I'd go Robbo defo. I think he's 4/5 out of 5. Ashby Hammond. Now I'm going to make a statement. I think he's our best goalkeeper.
Yeah, we sort of already said that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very close, to be honest, but I'd probably have to agree with you from what I've seen.
But I still wouldn't say he's a good signing.
I wouldn't either.
I saw this one earlier, but we've got 3 second choice keepers.
Yeah,
they're not wrong.
He's not. There's no first choice. I seen someone else put. It might have even been the same comment. We're 40 games into the season. No, it wasn't. We're 40 games into the season and we still don't know our first choice keeper is.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Very bad. I'd give him a 2 out of 10. I think he's. It might be harsh. I think he's had some.
It was an underwhelming signing at the time, wasn't it? But like you said, best of a bad bunch. Someone else just put that as well. Callum just put that in there. Best of a bad bunch.
Colquitt. I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. It seems like something dodgy was going on. What?
Do you know what it is? Right. We signed Jody Jones, who had this long injury issue. Obviously, very, very unlucky of injury. Jody Jones wasn't he? Obviously comes back in. He's absolutely fantastic for Notts. Really, really good. Our best player. He's broke records this season with his assists. He's fantastic. And I think that it's like that they put it in their search engine. Must be injury prone for the last year. Because their values come down. So then we bring them in, build their value back up again, and they move on and things like that. But it's a myth to me, to be honest with you.
You see him starting next year at any point?
No, it's a loan, isn't it? He'll never come back.
Is he on loan? Oh, he is a loan, isn't he? Is he?
He is.
Yeah, he's a loan.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a loan. Weird. I don't know what. Warner. Shocked by Warner. I don't know if he's not been given. It's been a weird one because everything about him. He looks like a player. Looks like he. And every time I see him, I think he looks okay. But I just don't know why he's not been consistent. He's not been consistent in the team, has he? And he got brought off early against Sutton. Was it Sutton or some? Might not have been the Sutton game. He got took off. Can't remember who it was against. And I thought, okay, bit of a weird one to bring Warner off there. Myth by Warner. I had such high expectations. Don't think he's done awfully. He played well against Newport. Going back to that game as a beacon of light.
It was right against Mansfield as well, to be fair. I think that was his first game. He's quite good at it.
I'll give it about 2.5. We'll go off 3.
Yeah, I reckon 2. Yeah, he's not lived up to the hype that I thought, but he's still been okay.
And then last but not least, the Prince, Gambian Prince, Jata. I mean, I give him a 5 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5.
How many goals has he got in how many games?
5 goals in 8 games.
5, mate. 5 out of 5.
Oh no, 5 and 5. Yeah, but in total,
that's what I'm giving him. 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
You know, when he made his first appearance, I thought, oh no,
we've signed back 10,000 maybe 5 minutes.
We've signed another Sam, haven't we? someone who's got that moment of brilliance, but you know, they don't really offer much to the team. But you know, I've been proved wrong. I think he's been really good. Defensively, he's good. And someone made this point earlier, so I apologize for not bringing this up earlier on, but it just didn't fit into that sort of time in the conversation. That when we signed Jata, it was outlined that his heading wasn't his strength; it was one of his weaknesses. How many headers he scored for us now? 2 or 3. To be fair, against MK Dons, he missed 1 or 2 sitters, 3 headers. You know what I mean? But then he scores probably the most difficult one that Chickson slung in for him. So he redeems himself. But yeah,
Joe News.
5 out of 5.
I agree with Joe on this one.
Let's have a look.
6 out of 5. Get the statue
built.
The
statue built. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sense to me.
We should definitely put that forward. And this is obviously a bit of a tangent here, but you know, before that gets done, I'd like to see the hand dryers improve. I would honestly. I went to the quiz on what was it, last Tuesday now, or the Tuesday before that?
Yeah, I was with you.
You was with me. The hand dryers are even bad in hospitality.
Yeah, they just haven't got it.
Come on.
I don't know who their supplier is of hand dryers, but they need to sort out. Let me tell you this quickly. So I was at the airport. I went to Budapest at the weekend. That's why I couldn't go to Knots. Going to the airport, East Midlands Airport, go to the toilet, go to wash my hands. The tap starts drying my hands. So I'm like, what's going on here? Can't work out the actual tap because I've not washed them yet. Dyson tap. Have you seen one of them before?
Nah.
Water in the middle. So you wash your hands in the middle, put your hands out, it dries it there and then. You'd have loved it.
I'll have to make a visit.
They can't be cheap. But they had the same. They had the same things in the airport in Budapest. Must be an airport thing.
Yeah, I think honestly we probably need to collectively come together, and I genuinely mean this as well. It was a joke to start with, but it's not anymore. They need to sort hand dryers out.
They do, yeah. Hygiene's a thing, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like,
Steve's made a good point. Bring back mushy peas.
They need to bring back the right type of mushy peas though, because the mushy peas that they had at the start they're just tinned mushy peas. What they need to do is they need them soak overnight mushy peas, where you soak them, you add your salt, you add your sugar, and then you actually sort of make them yourself. So that's what they need. They're called I can't remember what they're called.
Marifat.
They're the ones. They need them. They're proper goose fair ones because they can't.
You know.
I'm good at making them.
Right. We should probably move on to Harrogate now because this is sort of what we're actually here to preview 43 minutes later. Look, they're unbeaten in 5 games. Harrogate they're a decent side. They're only just above us in the league, really. It's a tough game to call. I think that one is, to be honest, a tough game to call. What do you make of it?
Again, a tough. They're like quite a few of the teams that we've played against. They're not possession heavy. They don't really have the ball a lot. They are sort of they're expecting to counter on us, kind of what they did against us at their place, where they beat us 3-1. We dominated the ball. I think we had something like 60%, 66% possession, and they'll counter on us. And for me, that is a system this season that works well against us. So they're a sort of team where I agree with you. They're a mid-table sort of team. They're only 4 points off the playoffs. It's a very tight league. They're a team that can cause us problems, though. I think it is. I'm worried for it. I think teams where they try and get the ball on the floor, we can sort of deal with them a little bit better. I think teams where they're happy for us to have it and then counter on us and sort of expose our weaknesses in defence and cut us open. I am a little bit concerned. Did a little bit of research on them today. So their expected goals is the lowest in the league. So they're 24th for expected goals. So they're 12th in the league, 24th for expected goals. They've got the lowest goals, lowest shots on target per game as well. So what that tells you pretty much is that they don't have a lot of chances, but when they do get a chance, they put it away. And I think for us, it's a worry. And then they'll sit back and defend against us. So that's right. That's for me. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's for me a good point. I seen somebody make. It was on Twitter. It was like a short video, and it was, someone who the ball had dropped to them in the 18-yard box, and it was like called Guess the XG. I don't know if you've seen it. It was popping around on my Twitter a few days ago. And someone said, does it take into account the player? Because I think it was like Darwin Núñez or something like that. And that is a really good point about XG. XG doesn't take into account the player, does it? No. Yeah, because
So,
you could have Haaland in the box or have.
well, that's what I mean. I think if sometimes when you look at it and you say Harrogate have got the lowest XG in the league,
Yeah.
that for me says two things. It says they're not creating enough chances, but then it also says on the flip side of that, they must have some quality finishers in their side if they've got the lowest XG in the league.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think, but then again, they're taking their chances, aren't they? And I understand. I agree. I don't think it's the perfect sort of device to use and statistic to use to measure things, but I would be worried. I think most teams that we look against now, when they get into the box against us, with what we've just been speaking about, defense and goalkeeper, we're worried anyway. A team could have the highest expected goals. It doesn't really matter. It's something that you don't need to look in too deeply.
There is definitely some correlation to it, though. Yeah. I'm not saying completely disregard it. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying from a different perspective, that's all. Yeah. I think there is a lot of correlation to expected goals and goals actually scored.
And I think the worry is I won't be surprised to see us have a lot of possession, them to have a counter, get the ball into the box and score a goal. I think that's the summary of it, isn't it? I think that's what we're worried about. And it's just a pattern that we've seen so much this season. So what about the game? It could go. They are a bogey team as well.
Yeah, they make a really good point.
I think we've been quite negative, haven't we? I want to come across positive. I want to think we're going to win. Do I genuinely believe we're going to win? I don't know.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Just looking at the table briefly here, though, obviously they're on 58 points. They sit 4 points outside the playoffs. It's all to play for Harrogate.
Yeah.
Look, it's still mathematically possible for us to make playoffs. Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. No. So that's out the window for us. So we, technically speaking, haven't got anything to play for really now. Where Harrogate have got everything to play for.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll fancy it. They'll see our home form and they'll say we fancy it against them. Exactly. So, but I'd love us to win. I'd love us to win.
Yeah,
I'd love it.
Right, I think we should move on to our lineup. But before we do that, get your score predictions in for Saturday's game in the comments, and I'll get as many of those up as I can. Obviously, this is my first time actually hosting using this, StreamYard. So bear with me. I think I've done all right so far. But bear with me. Thanks, mate. Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
It's a shame that Tom's away doing his
violin lessons.
That was it. The violin. It's just such a weird, outdated instrument now. I don't know.
No, there's definitely a place for a violin, but not on a Thursday night, is there?
No, he needs to change that. He said to us it was only like a week thing, wasn't it? So
yeah, hopefully he's back next week. But we'll see. Right then, let's go into our lineup then, Will. Do you know what? You do yours, and I'll tell you what I'd change if I change anything.
All right, I'll go Ashby Hammond in goal.
Yep, agreed.
3 centre halves. It's so tough. I'd go. I mean, you have to do it though. Cameron, Baldwin, Macari.
No Warner.
No Warner. Would you go Warner?
Probably not. I was just putting that question to you.
And I would go. See, it's hard, isn't it? Then I would go. Chickson played well, didn't he? Chickson played well at the weekend.
Played really well. I think he did really well for that assist for Jata's goal as well against MK. Really well.
I don't want to leave Jody Jones out there.
You can't leave Jody Jones out. He's our best player. He's probably the best player in the league.
He's tired, though, isn't he? He's tired. He's not had no sleep this week.
Okay.
I'll go Jixon. No, I don't know.
That's a good point, actually. I forgot about that. He's just had a baby, hasn't he?
He's had a baby.
I what you meant then. I was thinking, how do you know he's not slept?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He might not have slept. I'll go JD left wing back. Yeah. Naman right wing back.
Yeah. Agreed. I agree so far. You're doing
well. Robertson.
Yes.
Crowley.
Yeah.
Austin. I think you're going to disagree there.
No, I actually do agree. I think Austin's been absolutely phenomenal this season. I do. I think probably one of the unsung heroes.
How many have I said now? How many have I got left?
She's got 2 left, mate.
Oh, Jata and Langstaff.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with you. I agree.
So we're leaving McGoldrick on the bench.
Yes.
Do you think people agree with that?
I'm not sure, but we're entitled to our opinion, aren't we?
I just feel bad for Chickson, you know. I
do, but I've said this before on the channel. I'm not too bothered about me personally about not upsetting people when it comes to selection. I think I said this about Slocum last season, where it's like I don't really mind if it's upsetting the squad and stuff like that. I think you just got to make those decisions sometimes. Like I say, it's probably a bit harsh to say that about Chicks, and I'm not saying that in particular, but
could you play Chickson?
Joe just said play Chicks left wing back. Jody Further was one of the attacking mids. Definitely could do that. I think it'd work. Didsy on the bench for me. It says Dave.
Fair.
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree with us. Make sure you're getting in your score predictions for Harrogate. So yeah, that's our lineup.
I don't disagree with Chris there. You could go Chickson left centre back. Cameron has been a little bit shaky of late.
Yeah, I thought he played well against MK.
Okay. Yeah, I just feel bad for Chickson, man. I want him in.
Yeah, I think he's had a tough season getting back into fitness, hasn't he? So
yeah, 2 games in a row probably a bit tough for him. We'll use that. We'll tell him that when we're picking the team. When we're telling him, we'll say we'll get him on. Get them ice baths. He had to come off. He had to ice something.
Yeah, definitely.
And he came off.
Is he too dependent on his ice bath?
Potentially.
Could be. Right then, let's get some score predictions in the comments. Will, you go first though?
Score prediction. I'm gonna go over win. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go with it. 3-1.
Can I ask why?
Just because I feel like we're so sporadic, and I feel like we're due a win at home, and I feel like this is gonna be the start of Maynard kicking it forward. I reckon we are gonna win 3-1, ruin their playoff chances. There we go. Goal scorers. Forgot to say goal scorers, didn't I? Actually, Jata 2, Austin 1. Oh, Scott's coming on. Yeah, Scott will come on as well.
I know. Yeah, I've seen that. You know what? I'll say this as well before I give my score prediction. Scott was warming up on the sideline against MK, and he got a real big round of applause from the fans. It was nice. It was nice to see. I'm gonna say 2-1 Harrogate. I think we lose, to be honest. I've said it on this video, and I'm not going to shy away from it and pretend that I'm thinking things are going to improve. I think there's a lot of things wrong at the moment, and I don't think it's going to be a fix that can happen outside of the transfer window. So yeah, 2-1 Harrogate. I'm going to get some people in now. Ian Hayward 2-1 Knots. Hartley bloody 2-2. Dave 2-1 Harrogate as well. He agrees with me. Charlie 2-0 Knots. Macca and Jody. I wish I was feeling the same as that, but I'm definitely not. Joe, the SM Renaissance to start Saturday, 1-0 Knots. Langstaff. And as always, sensible one from Callum. Going to be a 6-1 demolition with Chickson hat-trick, Jata brace, Macari screamer to open the scoring. Own goal by the main from a corner. I love it.
I love it.
It's great. It's probably my only constant every week is Callum's score.
I love seeing Callum's team as well. Like, is he just starting Chickson up top every week?
Yeah, he must be. Paul Willits 3-1 Knots. Let's get these. Keep going. I clicked on the wrong thing now. James 2-1 effectively Harrogate's playoff hope. Effectively end Harrogate's playoff hopes. Pamela says 2 Knots 2 Harrogate 1. Corey 3-2 to Knots, Jata double, and Scott. Is there any more that I've missed?
Optimism. There is optimism.
And I tell you what, mate, the atmosphere against MK Dons was amazing.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how good it was. I thought it was going to be a little bit toxic because of the goals we conceded on Friday.
Yeah,
Easter Friday. But it wasn't. It was good, and I thought the fans probably were the best they've been. And thinking of the run we're on, credit to everyone there and the atmosphere. Final one then. Harry goes, I'm assuming 1-0 to Harrogate. Thinking the same as me that we're probably going to lose. But that is the video. Quite a long one tonight. I didn't expect it to be this long. It's been fun though, I think. Let me know if you've enjoyed it. If you're listening back on Spotify, please give us a 5-star review if you haven't already. On to Saturday, and thanks for watching, guys.